It's been a very entertaining season. It's been a lot that's been going on. You have your championship favorites. You have your Eastern Conference race for who's going to be the best team over there. We've had a all right MVP race. All right.
All right.
Rookie of the Year race is ridiculous. It's a two-man race, but it's been a good race back and forth. Concanipple is actually favored right now, believe it or not. Also, we've had a good race for who's the worst team in the NBA. Tanking is at an all-time high, but myself personally, I'm enjoying what teams are doing to try to get that number 1 overall pick or a top 3 pick. However, Chill and Mars, would you guys believe it if I told you that there's one race that's been overlooked? It's been right under our nose, but we really haven't been paying enough attention to it or as much attention to it as we should.
What's that?
And to me, personally, Chill, I think the most improved player race has silently been one of the best parts of the season.
It has.
We have 5 or 6 guys that legitimately deserve to win this award and legitimately have taken major leaps in their game and legitimately are all in contention to potentially win this race.
I can get with that. Yes, I can absolutely get with that. Considering like who the 5 guys are, I did not have, to Mars's point, guys like Rollins on my radar before the season started. I thought he would be good, but I didn't think that he would be in that space. My most improved player was before the season started was Josh Giddy. I thought that I would get close to a triple-double this season. I didn't think that the Bulls would be good. I thought that they would be right around like the play-in tournament, like around that space because they were still building. But I thought Josh Giddy was going to be like a walking triple-double. Like almost every night I was getting that from him. He was going to average close to that. But, I mean, we've had some really good players come out of nowhere is not the word I'm looking for, Ron. It's more of we've had some players surprise us, and there's been some guys that I've really been surprised about.
Yeah, there actually is one guy that came out of nowhere. But before we even talk about him and talk about what the standings look like or the favorites or the odds, the betting odds for who's going to win it, just for context, I want to give you guys the 6 guys that were predicted and slotted to win. It had the best odds before the season. So at number 6 at plus 8,000, and this is with BetMGM, at plus 8,000, you had Jaylen Durant.
This ain't today, Ron. This is we haven't played the game yet. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, this is before the season even started.
We haven't started yet. All right, I'm following you. Okay.
So Jaylen Durant was a plus 8,000. Jaylen Johnson plus 5,000. Josh Giddy was at 4th, plus 2,000. Denny Abdia at 3rd, coming into the season. He was a plus 1,600. Can you guys guess the top 2 guys? This is coming into the season. Best odds to win most improved. Into the season. So Jaylen Durant, Jaylen Johnson, Josh Giddy, Denny Abdia was 3rd. Chat, can anybody guess who the top 2 guys were?
I have no idea.
J-Dub? No, because he made the All-Pro team last year. It's not J-Dub. How about Chet, maybe?
Nope.
No Chet.
I would have thought it was Josh and probably not Denny, but I would have thought Josh was one of the top 2.
The most improved. How about the kid from the Lakers, Reeves?
Nope.
No.
Even though that actually would have been solid, but nobody thought Reeves was about to do. Like, he came out that first 15 games. He shocked everybody, including his mama.
Career fact. I'm stumped.
Maybe Jalen Green?
Nah. So at number 2, plus 1,400, we have Matas Buzelis.
Matas? Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I know I was huge on Matas coming into the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where he is right now, Ron, or this before the season started?
No, this is before the season.
Okay, I'm still following.
Slotted to come second. He had the second best odds. But y'all, this first one makes so much sense. We expected him to take an all-star leap. A lot of people had him be an all-star. Expected him to take an all-star leap. His role on the team increased. However, he just didn't really take that offensive leap. Defense is still there. Just didn't really. I know Mars would probably get this if he was here.
Kata?
But
from the Celtics?
Not chill. Nobody. Once again, Kata was one of those guys. He was like an afterthought.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a sore.
Close.
Amen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ron.
Amin was a plus 18. Let me guess. You meant to say Amin. You just got it mixed up.
No. I meant to say
okay,
so.
okay. Yeah.
So
All right,
Amin
It
was
was
the
just
guy.
it was just that everybody was so high on him last year. Y'all acted like he was already all NBA last year.
Well, remember, based on how high everybody was, they had him taking that leap this year. A lot of people had him in averaging like, let me see, I don't know what he's averaging right now, but people had him
17,
averaging
almost 18 a game. He's
okay. That's
17, almost 18 a game. Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what people had him at, but they had him. Remember, everybody had him being an all-star and all of that.
Mm-hmm. I picked
So
him.
last year he averaged 14. He's averaging 17 now.
Mm-hmm. I picked him in. I had him in the defensive player of the year conversation. I thought that he would. If he didn't win it, he would be like right there with him, Wemby, and Mobley. That's where I had him at. I mean, damn, Ron, we're talking about being the most improved player. When you look at the history of the most improved player, he averages at least 5 more points than he did the previous year to start. Like he averages at least 5 more points than to start. On top of that, like he doesn't have to be on a good team. Right? He doesn't have to be on a good team, but he definitely has to be a bucket getter. So on top of him averaging 5 more points, he's doing it the whole season, the entire season. So, and Centrell told me, Mobley, give it up. Yo, he won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Shut up. Quiet. He already did it. So quiet. And yeah, he might have won it by default, but he still won it. So at the very least, even if Vic won it, he was the second best defensive player in the game. So pipe down.
Ain't no default thing. That happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? He won it. You know what I mean?
That's it. He won it.
But I mean, y'all, because my thing too, Ron, it's just like y'all was acting like, damn, most improved. Y'all, I thought most of y'all had him in for MVP.
Amin was getting a lot of hype. I think it's deserving though. Like, Amin's a good ass player.
I was expecting him. I was
Absolutely.
expecting him to take another jump this year. Y'all know how I felt about him. I wanted to give him the ball. He wasn't prepared for that, considering what was going on.
You don't think he took a jump this year, too?
I do think that he got better. I do think that he got better. I'm not with all of that. Yo, he can't dribble and he can't do. He's shown me signs that he can do this stuff. It just has to be more consistent, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's young. That's all. A lot of it has. I do think that at some point he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, though. I do think that.
I don't see that happening. But I think you three are the highest on the men, like, of everybody that I've talked to.
Ox, what's your biggest issue with him?
Amin's a hooper.
I don't have an issue with him. I just don't think he's as good as y'all think he is.
Is it because where he is right now, or where you see him in the future? Because like I see a better ball handler in the future. I see a consistent jump shooter in the mid range and in the mid post. I can see him being respectable at that. I see that. I see that happen.
I don't see him ever being a respectable shooter, but I also don't see him ever being a great ball handler. And honestly, I don't think he needs to be. Like, I think what Amin does is dope. I just, you know what I'm saying? I think he's better with Freddie. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the numbers and the stats say, but I think he's better when he's not when he can be a transition demon and just be like a freak athlete on defense and just mix it up. And like, I'm just wondering, you know how I feel about you. I don't believe in perfect basketball players. I don't believe in, this guy's going to get this, he's going to get that.
I'm coming around.
Amin, you know what I'm saying? Amin is just, he is what he is. And like, of course, you know, if he improves, that's great. And I'm not saying he can't improve. I'm just saying like what he does for a basketball team is super important. You know what I'm saying? Like he mixes it up on both sides of the floor. He's good. He knows how to cut and get open. He knows how to run the floor hard. He can dunk anything, get off the ground so fast, super athletic. So while I don't think he's as good as y'all think he is, I don't have any issues with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking a player because he's not, you know what I'm saying, 40% from three and not Kyrie with the ball. I don't care about all that. He's still super impactful.
I'm just not one of these. I'm not one of these guys that's huge on having to be a knockdown long ball shooter. Because I think that if you can make long twos, I've always felt like that. If you can make long twos, if we got other guys that can make threes, that could supplement that. If you can make long twos, you could keep defenses honest. If you can make long twos and you can score in the mid post, which is where he's shown that he can get. And I think he can be a respectable offensive player and make teams stay honest. I think the thing that I'm thinking about the most when it comes to Amen Thompson is I feel like he's one of those players that he could do a whole bunch of things really good, which when you get on the floor, we could put that stuff together and he could be a great defender here. And then he could be a respectable jump shooter in this space right here, like situationally, if that makes any sense. That's why I love him so much, because I don't think he's James or anything like that where I'm getting that every night. But I feel like situationally, there's nights when, he's going to keep defenses honest and knock down an open shot, or I can put him on your best perimeter scorer and he could slow him down on that night. Kind of like a better version of what Drew Holiday was.
A better version of what Drew Holiday was.
A bigger, better version of what Drew Holiday was.
I hear what's a bigger, but the bet.
Yes, even better. Yes.
Never. He'll never be better than Drew Holiday.
I'm with you. Bigger and better.
He'll never be better than Drew Holiday. Never.
I don't really like the Drew Holiday comp, though. I kind of like, for a man, I like Sean Marion.
I don't think, Ron, wait a minute. Wait
Sean Marion could shoot it. He could shoot it a little better and stretch it a little better.
Definitely never be better than the Matrix.
I'm not saying what I'm just saying a comp.
Gotcha.
When I say a bigger, better version of Drew Holiday, I mean in situations like, all right, this is what Drew did in this situation. Not him as an overall player. No, I don't mean that at all. What I mean is this is what Drew did in this situation. This is what Amen can do in this situation and be better at it in this particular situation.
We're talking about Amen, but Amen is not in the most improved player race right now. He was the favorite to come into the season. However, as of right now, we have 6 guys with odds across the boards where I've went on a few different places. I've checked a few different sites and got their odds. And there are 6 guys that are consistently the top 6 guys. So we're going to talk about these 6 guys individually. And I just want to talk about the improvement that they've made. And you guys let me know if you think that they have an opportunity to win MIP. But ultimately, like I said, I think that this is the most competitive race in the season so far. And I think this is probably, to me, this is my favorite part of the season that's going on. And so the first guy, and we're going to rock with, let's rock with sports. Yes, we're going to rock with FanDuel. So the first guy is Keonte George. If you watched the game last night, you've seen Keonte George went crazy against the Denver Nuggets. Mm-hmm. However, the leap that Keonte George has taken, he averaged almost 17 last year, 16.8, 5 assists, almost 4 rebounds, 3.8. This year, almost 24 points, 6.4 assists, same amount of rebounds. Shooting percentage is much better. Shooting better from the 3, shooting better from the field. He almost shot 39% last year. This year, that's up to 46.
That's your winner right there. Keonte? That's your winner right there.
Think he's the winner, Chill?
I think that's your winner right there. Considering what the most improved player has been in the past, just off the buckets alone, to go from 16, almost 17 a game to 24, that right there alone would make him most improved. Now, when you're talking about he's taking 2 more shots a game, I think he's taking 2 more shots a game, and his field goal percentage has skyrocketed. It's gotten a lot better. He's definitely headier as a point guard today than what he was last year. I mean, I'm never going to talk about his defense, but I think that he's definitely improved a lot, just as a bucket getter, as a floor general. I mean, I think that's your winner. And I can appreciate where Mars is when it comes to Rollins. I really wish Giannis wouldn't have got hurt, Mars, because I think that we having a real conversation about Rollins being the most improved player if he had not gotten hurt.
Thoughts on Keonte? Anybody?
Mm-mm. You weren't reading those in order, were you?
No. Well, yeah. Keontae's
the favorite.
Keontae's, yeah. He's not the favorite. He's plus 2,000. So of the guys I'm mentioning, he's the lowest.
So he's the bottom of the favorites?
Yeah.
He's the least favorite.
And how many names are you going to say?
6.
I'm interested to hear the 5.
So you have next. Shout out to him.
Are 2 of them named Jaylen?
Potentially. We'll see.
Okay.
They might be Rob. However, hey, you never know. The next name in Atlanta is Nikil Alexander-Walker. A big shout out to him. He's been hooping. And I thought he was good coming out of Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
But after years of him not really getting opportunity, I didn't know if he would ever hit this gear. However, last year, Chill, he was averaging 9.4 points, 2.7 assists, 3.2 rebounds, and only played 25 minutes. This year, starting 52 out of the 59 games in 33 minutes, my man Nikil is averaging almost 20 points, 19.8 points, 3.8 assists, giving you a steal a game, and is averaging 2.9 rebounds.
Shit,
No, 3.6 rebounds.
Winner. That might be your
I'd
winner.
have Keonte above him.
You would?
I do want to say though, Ron, like,
what's up?
I know he's playing 7 more minutes here, but I do think the last 2 seasons in Minnesota, like, he got to showcase that he was a good basketball player. Like he did. He definitely got an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? He might not have got a bunch of shots, you know, but I think he definitely got opportunity in Minnesota. He was getting, you know, he was playing in big minutes too.
Yeah,
Mars, why you like this kid?
He's basically doubled his shot attempts and doubled his scoring. But Chill, as you were saying,
Mars, why you like this kid over Walker?
I think Nikil's a benefactor. This is not a bad thing. He's a benefactor of more offensive responsibility, but with that, his defense has gone worse. Keonte, I don't think has regressed at anything. Now, to be fair, he sucked at defense last year. He sucks now.
So we can't talk.
So
about
I'm
that.
not saying Keonte's a better defender than Nikil. But when it's most improved player, I don't think you get to just improve on offense, get worse on defense, and overall be like quite similar to where you were last year in terms of overall impact. And then I say you're the most improved player in the NBA. I don't subscribe to that.
Getting worse on defense because he's playing in Atlanta, because he's got more responsibility, because he didn't have that much of a responsibility in Minnesota because they were better defensively. Has he gotten worse, or maybe he just was that good of a defender in Minnesota? They were just really good at masking it, as opposed to Keonte.
I mean, they're having him guard the ball in Minnesota. I don't think you mask someone you trust to guard the ball.
Well, sure, absolutely. We got him guarding the ball, but we also got, you know, Jaden McDaniels on one wing. I got Anthony Edwards, and I got Rudy Gobert. I got Rudy Gobert guarding the rim. So, I mean, I don't have to be Drew Holiday on the basketball. You know, I can, and that's not to say that he's not a defender. I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. That's not to say that he's not a defender. So I think it looks a lot different in Atlanta because I still think that he guards the basketball. Like, who's defending the rim in Atlanta consistently? Like, what wing defenders do we have to help him in Atlanta? Like, he's got more responsibility. So I think that might contribute to him looking worse on defense.
Yeah, and him having more opportunity on offense contributes to why he looks better on offense. Most improved is always going to be about opportunity. So if we're going to say that his defense getting worse isn't that big of a deal because he's in a worse offensive environment, worse defensive environment,
sure.
Then the flip side is he hasn't actually improved that much on offense. He's just being given more shots. And I don't think either one are like entirely true. But I think Keonte has clearly improved more as a player. But Keonte had clear weaknesses last year that he has addressed and have become strengths of his. That's improvement. And his weaknesses, like the defense, I'm acknowledging he sucks on defense. I'm not even saying he's a better player than Nikil. I'm not saying that. Right. But when it comes to improvement, yeah, the player Keonte was last year versus the player Keonte is this year. That's a bigger difference versus what Nikil was last year and what Nikil is this year, in my opinion.
That part I could get with, Mars, but what I think what I'm pushing back on is the idea, because most improved, most of the time I've seen, it's been an offensive thing. It hasn't really had much to do with defense. And the fact that I'm getting more shots, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not improving. Because we've seen guys get more shots and that doesn't work for them. And we saw what happened with Jordan Poole when he went down to New Orleans. He was getting more shots and that didn't work out. That didn't work out that well with him, right? So with a guy like Alexander-Walker, he is getting more shots. And I think he's a lot smarter in terms of his shot selection. And with that freedom, like he seems to be with that freedom, he seems to be more comfortable with taking shots as opposed to he knew when he was in Minnesota, all right, I'm only going to be out here for a limited amount of time. If I get 5 shots, I better make all 5 of these shots count. Even though I can get buckets and I can be more of a bucket getter if I have more opportunity. But I know that when I'm out here, I look limited as an offensive player and I look limited as a bucket getter. So whatever I get, I better get it, and I better get it right now because I'm not going to be out here long.
The most shots Jordan Poole's ever taken was in Golden State.
Even more? Maybe the misses. I feel like the misses maybe the misses in New Orleans were just
it was loud in
Washington. I mean,
I know.
They were just loud.
I feel you. But like I'm once again, I'm not arguing. Like Nikil's not going to win it. I don't think that's the thing. And I'm arguing against 5th against 6th right now. So I mean, it's not like ultimately that big of a deal. But I just think the growth that Keonte has shown to become like a legitimate offensive weapon versus Nikil, I think, is more of a usage thing. I think Keontae's actually went from a below average offensive engine to a legitimately positive one. And Nikil's gone from a low usage offensive player to a mid usage offensive player. I think one's a very clear, like, more impactful growth. That's really it.
We go get to the next player. The next player that I got for you guys is the guy that came out of nowhere. So preseason favorites, I'm going to run this down for you guys one more time. Coming into the season, the favorites were Jaylen Durant, Jaylen Johnson, in this order from last to first. Jaylen Durant, Jaylen Johnson, Josh Giddy, Denny Abdia, Matas Buzelis, Amin Thompson. However, there's one guy that was not projected to be most improved. He was not projected to have the role that he had. He was not projected to get busy like this. His name is Ryan Rollins. He plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. Last year, he only averaged 6 points, under 2 assists, under 2 rebounds, and only played 14 minutes. This year, in 32 minutes, Ryan Rollins is averaging almost 17 points, 16.8. He's averaging 1.5 steals, 5.4 assists, 4.6 rebounds, and he's hooping 41% from 3. Thoughts on Ryan Rollins?
I could have told you. I mean,
you did tell us, in fact.
Yeah,
you
I
actually
literally did.
You actually did tell us, in fact.
I have 4 million thoughts.
It's crazy.
Can you give us just a million?
I actually don't think he's improved.
Oh, that's just how much money he makes. He makes $4 million a year at show.
I think he was capable of this. Not all of this. A lot of this last year. I think that's why I was optimistic about him this year. So I still think he deserves to be in the race, absolutely. Because being able to take on the level of, like, it's different from Nikil, because Nikil was already consistently playing last year.
Yeah.
Going from being a bit part player last year to then being thrust into a starting point guard role in the NBA, that's a tough responsibility to take. Not only to take, but then to maintain, like, scoring efficiency, still shoot the 3 at the clip he does, like, get your teammates involved, all of that stuff, not turn the ball over a bunch. Like, being able to do all of those things, that's obviously, like, amazing, and that's improvement for him.
Sure.
But I also think he was capable of a lot of this last year, and he should have been playing more last year. So it's a double-edged sword for me. But I do think he should be in this race, absolutely, as I've been saying all year, because Ryan Rollins is like that.
I just thought that the confidence in him being able to shoot the basketball, I didn't see that in years past. I just thought he was a young guy that was trying to figure it out. Those first couple of games, he looked really confident in his jump shot. He looked really confident in his offense. Defensively, I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it neither. But he just looked really comfortable out there playing with Giannis, even though he was still trying to figure it out. He had some direction. He knew where he wanted to go. If he was open, he didn't hesitate. He wasn't looking around. I vividly remember them playing against Houston, and Giannis was on the floor, and he would come off of that. He would come off of that pick with Giannis and get right to that right elbow, and he'd stick that jump shot. He'd stick it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, I like what I'm seeing from this kid. I think the difference is when Giannis went down, I think the improvement of him, I think it got a little bit hampered. That's not to say that he didn't get busy, because I think he averaging like almost 12 points more than he averaged last year, something like that, Ron. Like 10 more points more than he did last year, which is a big deal. So I feel like if Giannis hadn't gotten hurt, I think that he would have improved even more than what we saw this season.
Like,
his biggest growth to me is just getting downhill. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like, there's a few ways that people can improve, right? Obviously, there's role opportunity, right? That's one of the big ones, right? Yep. Opportunity going from like 14 minutes to a starting role. That's a growth and opportunity, but also role, like primacy within the offense. You get the ball more, you get to do more. Ryan Rollins does more of everything, right? He's scoring more, he's passing more, he's turning the ball over more, he's scoring a little less efficiently, but still relatively efficiently. What I like is that his defense is held up, unlike Keonte George. I do like his defense. And I think role difficulty has to matter too. I don't think you can equate 1-to-1 his role last year and just map it onto his role this year. He's being scouted more. He's higher on scouting reports. So the fact that he can even come close to matching his efficiency from last year while almost tripling his production, I think that's a huge thing. So
now we got to get to my man who's third right now in odds. Oh, man. This was my most improved player. I think games played might have docked him recently, being injured. But Denny Abdia is next up. He has the third best odds to win MIP. Last year, he averaged damn near 16.9 points, 7 rebounds, 3.4 assists in 30 minutes. Minutes are pretty much the same. He's playing 33 minutes. However, his shots went up by 5. So he shot 11 shots last year. He's shooting 16 this year. He's averaging 24 points, so up from 17 to 24. Assists have went up from 3.4 to 6.6. Rebounds is the same at 7 rebounds. And the boy just nice. All-star this year. Wasn't an all-star last year. Fellas, what's our thoughts on Denny Abdia?
Y'all told me he was nice last year, and I watched a lot of Trailblazers games, and I was impressed with him. I did not expect this. I did not know that he was that nice getting downhill with both the strong and the weak hand. I did not give him the floor general praise that he deserved because he actually was a really good floor general this year. His ability to decipher defenses and make the correct reads and get guys the basketball and to get to the rim. The thing that I didn't recognize about him, and probably more this season than last, I didn't realize he was 6'8". I didn't know he was that big. I thought this was like a 6'5", maybe a 6'6" dude. I did not know that he was that tall. And it became more evident this year, just his ability to get down the lane and just punch on guys. And some guys
may look tough too, Chill. He tough too.
As nails. He with all the smoke and all the drama. So I think he improved as a jump shooter too, Ron. Because like I said, I did watch some Trailblazer games last year, and I wasn't overly impressed with his ability to shoot off the dribble. I think this year he improved as a jump shooter. His ability to score one-on-one has improved. I mean, I like what I'm saying. I did not expect this kind of leap, so I'm impressed with him, no doubt.
Yeah, he the thing about Denny Abdia too is like, I think he got to a point like when he was in Washington to him, being in Portland, he two different players. And I think it became evident that he got better over the summers. Like he made that leap once he left Washington, and in the Portland, you can tell so many things just improved about his game. One of it was just him attacking through like contact in space. Like if there's a little gap, he's so confident now at getting through that gap because he's strong. He can, which I'm with Mars though. Some of that shit should be offensive foul, but if they allowing it and he's so strong by bumping you and then getting to a layup, I like it. And but the most important part about it, not just his ball handling. I mean, not just his shooting improved. His ball handling just got way better, like just way better. Like he can handle the peel with the toughest defenders guarding him now, and so. Bro, shout out Denny Abdia though. He's strong as hell too. Like he just tough as nails. Like
he's one of them few dudes, Ron, in the league that takes advantage of his size and uses his size as an advantage to not just smaller guys, even guys that are big like him but slower and aren't as strong. He definitely takes advantage of guys like that. Mars, you was talking to me about him years ago when he was in Washington because there was a conversation between both him and Kispert. And I remember you telling me that you thought that he was better than Kispert. And
that was a no-brainer, Chill.
Yeah, I remember
you telling me he was the best player on the Wizards.
Easy on my dog,
Kispert, you was telling me. I do remember that. You was telling me that he was better than Kispert because I know that
Kispert not gonna be in that league long. Watch what I
Hey, respect him, he had like 30 the other day. I think.
Yeah.
No, mind you, I never. Yeah, 33. Yeah,
against his old team. Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, that burner still work?
Well, my thing is, I never thought Denny was gonna be this good because I just didn't know he was that strong, and I definitely didn't know he was this fast. Like Denny is fast as shit. I didn't know that, but so I never thought he was gonna be here, but I never thought that the Corey Kispert conversation was real. Like,
I never even heard that conversation, so I must not been on the panel when you said that. Because I would have probably lost it, Chill. That's crazy. I would have lost my mind if I heard you say that shit.
I didn't say it, but that's what I'm saying. Like I heard the Denny Abdia.
Ron, we talking about Corey Kispert, Ron?
Yeah,
shout out my man Corey Kispert. Hey man,
that's crazy. That's the High School Musical hooper right there, boy. Corey Kispert,
boy. Zach Efron.
Yeah, he's Zach Efron, boy. Ain't no way in hell.
Shout out Zach Efron.
Hey, easy on Corey. He from the city, Hey, we got some tucked away that y'all don't even. Hey, it's Seattle's very cultured. It's a lot of white people up here, so we got a couple of those. I'm just saying we got a few sprinkled around the league. Corey Kisper's one of them. Y'all ain't never heard me bring him up.
From Seattle?
Yeah, man, come on, man. We got a couple.
I did not know that.
We know about Corey Ron. We just don't, he a hooper, but he ain't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He dope though. Like shout out.
I'll take that back though. Ox. I don't think he's gonna be out the league because Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, I'm right. You take it back.
Shit.
Yeah, Pat Connaughton ain't in the league no more.
Yeah, he ain't
He's in Charlotte.
He is.
Charlotte.
Exactly. Pat Connaughton's still moving around. That motherfucker.
Shout out my man Pat, man. Hey, y'all know Pat. Y'all know Pat getting to it off the court though. You know what I'm saying? His pop.
That's why he in the league.
His pops put him in that real estate game. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about Pat Connaughton?
Yeah, Pat Connaughton. His pops put him in that real estate game. He going crazy.
When I be like talking shit about NBA players on my videos, Pat Connaughton be liking them. He don't give a damn, boy. You know, some folks just pass him up. Pat Connaughton be liking him. I be talking shit. He double tap.
He still got big motion out here in Portland too. I remember one lady was talking to me the other day. She a little older lady, right? And was saying that they used to live like down the street from him, and he used to be like me and my girlfriends would just go take walks, just trying to catch a glimpse of him.
Damn, Pat.
Pat got motion.
We was trying to get a hold. We was trying to get a hold of Pat.
Boy, God damn.
Yeah, I bet they caught up with him. I know they caught up
Pat
with
out
him.
here in Portland.
They cornered him.
Boy, Pat probably what's that dude's name? Juice Bigelow.
Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, Deuce Bigelow, boy. That boy Pat Connaughton cold, boy.
Ron, would you bug out if Denny Abdia won Most Improved? Like, would it blow your mind if he did it?
Chill. That's crazy.
I've had Denny all year. I've had Denny all year.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I think at this point I'm changing up now in March because I do think that this other guy that is the favorite, I think he's surpassed him. But I've had Denny all year.
Is it because Denny's been out of the lineup? He's been hurt, so we really haven't seen him much?
Yeah, I think that's what's really docking him.
Yeah. That's kind of throwing a monkey wrench in what was going on because up until the All-Star break, he was rolling. He was getting busy.
And so, like, chill. Denny sparks a good conversation when it comes to this Most Improved.
Yeah.
Because like some players, like you could say like Nikil Alexander-Walker, his role changed. So his role, he had the opportunity to showcase his improvement. Yep. You could say Ryan Rollins, he just flat out got better. You could say Keonte George improved on the areas that allowed him to become successful. Efficiency, shot making, all of that stuff, and just a year's worth of growth.
Yep.
Denny, if you watched him last year, you would probably say that he didn't improve as much as these guys. He just refined some things. However, he took a leap from 17 points to 24 points, and he took an all-star leap. That goes into your case for Most Improved Player.
Are we confusing a guy who actually improved because his skill set improved, or a guy who got a better opportunity to show what I've always been able to do? Are we confusing?
I think you should just go off for impact. I think Denny's impact just improved. Like as far as like really what he's doing with the Portland Trailblazers, like the impact. Like you can't just kind of simplify it for Denny for what he's doing, but like his impact around the game. Did he lead the league in free throws, or he's like top 5 in free throw attempts, shit like
something
that?
Like averaging 9.
Yeah, like the impact, him being able to get to the line, like that's improving. Like just overall, what he brings to the game has just seriously improved. Jill. So I don't think it's no excuse for Denny, for like why he can't win it.
Chill. That question you asked though. Sometimes I think it's hard to point that out. You know what I mean? Like, but you just gotta see it on somebody. You know what I mean? Like when somebody is just out there and they might be 6 men, or they might even be in the lineup, but definitely not the first or second option. Yep. You could just look at the way they play basketball. Look at their confidence in the way they shoot the ball. Look how comfortable they are with the basketball. You could tell, like, you know what? If bro was number 1 option on his team, they might not be a championship level contender, but he's a baller. Like you can know he might average 11 points, but he could average 20. You know what I mean? If it was like that. So for me, I'm not really sure how to point that out other than just seeing somebody. You know how when you be somewhere and you can look at somebody, male or female, you can look at the way they walking, like, oh, that's a baller right there. Like they
Yeah.
got it. It's in them. It ain't on them at all. You know what I mean? That like it's just for me because I don't know any other way than to recognize that than just getting that feeling.
What I look at is I look at what you do throughout the course of the season and what you could do. Like he could be better as a distributor. He could be better as a floor general. He could be better as a bucket getter, finishing around the rim. And then I see a guy, for example, like Tyrese Maxey. I know that Mars doesn't love the one-on-one stuff. He does not love that. But what I dig about Tyrese Maxey, because it's obvious when I watch him, okay, he's been working on his downhill game. He's not just a super athlete. He knows when to go to the basket. He knows how to come off that dribble handoff. He knows how to come off that pick and roll, dive into the basket with the weak hand. He's obviously been in the gym working on that. So that's gotten better. That's the stuff that I'm looking for when I'm talking about a dude getting better and then talking about a guy being more improved. So a guy like Josh Giddy, when I see Josh Giddy in Chicago, for another example, when I see Josh Giddy in Chicago, I'm looking at a guy who I can already do this. I just need an opportunity to show y'all that I can be 19, 9, and 8. I could be 21, 8, and 7. I just wasn't able to do it when I was in Oklahoma City. I'm that nice. I just didn't get the opportunity to do it.
He did get the opportunity to do it in Oklahoma City. Shit, he just stunk it up. He got better.
I did not. No, I did not, Jordan. The ball.
You don't think Josh Giddy had opportunity?
Oh, the fact that SGA took the leap that he did. Now we take the ball out of Josh Giddey's hands. Josh Giddy needs the ball in his hands. So now I can't be who I really want to be, who I can be, because this dude, not because he's there, he's gotten way better. And that's stunting my growth.
That sounds like a Josh Giddy problem because the team.
It is. That's why I can't be here no more. That's absolutely a Josh Giddy problem.
No, I'm saying he got the opportunity as far as when his ass was left wide open a lot of the times, he should have took advantage of that shit. And maybe he would have got more opportunity. Like he got a little opportunity for the Thunder to be what they were. It's just shit. He wasn't making shots. That's just the main reason. He wasn't making shit.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't.
So that's an opportunity.
But then he gets to Chicago and he actually is making some shots, especially that last 25 games of the season. We saw a glimpse of what it could look like.
Talking about last year?
Yes, last year.
Yeah, every player gonna hit a wave. Every player should hit a wave.
But then, I mean, he was in and out of the lineup this year. But then I saw it this year, the stuff that I could have seen more of in Oklahoma City. I just wasn't able to because I don't think that he got the opportunity to be who he really was. And when I'm thinking about a guy improving, and I'm thinking about a guy already being that and having an opportunity to improve, I think I look more at that than I do at a guy already being that nice.
I feel like Josh Giddy, and I'm not gonna say to the T, but I feel like Josh Giddy could have been able to play Isaiah Hartenstein role a little bit better than what Isaiah Hartenstein doing too. Not saying that you can put him at the 4. I mean, you can put him at the 4, but I'm saying like
6'8", 6'9", something like that. He a big guard.
Yeah, he's 6'8". So I think Josh Giddy could have Isaiah Hartenstein initiated a lot of shit for the Thunder. That could have been a faction of something that Josh Giddy could have been doing for the Thunder. But I also think he just, I don't know, man. Maybe he didn't adjust to the way the Thunder were playing, and that's why it didn't work as far as what they needed him to do. But I wouldn't say he didn't get the chance. I just think that sometimes you have a down year in basketball, and sometimes you need another year to kind of regroup.
The reason the divide with you and I is the chance is because they were still in the development of Josh Giddy. They were in the development of J-Dub. Yeah. I don't think that anybody anticipated SGA getting this good this fast. And I think that kind of threw a monkey wrench in the development. It's what you and I have spoken about when it came to KD. Like when KD got to the Rockets, Amen got to now be more of a jump shooter. Not to say that he ain't getting opportunities. He is getting opportunities to shoot the jump shot. He just ain't that good at it, right? Sengun is getting opportunities to be more of a hub. But with him being that, well, now that's getting sped up. He isn't that good at it. I feel like with Josh Giddy, we didn't anticipate this dude being this good this early.
To be fair, I think the Thunder did anticipate Shea getting good that fast.
This
I think
good,
they did.
That good?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they saw. I think after the first year with Chris Paul, and I think they saw we got something with Shea. And then I think when Chris Paul left and he took the leap that he was supposed to when a vet kind of passed you off, I think the Thunder knew like,
but that's
oh,
a
shit,
big
we
ass
got
leap though,
it.
Jordan. I mean, to go from
took it.
being, that's what I'm saying. But to go from being a good player, a good young player, to now one being in the MVP conversation, being the top, arguably a top 5 player within like 2 years of that. Like
I think they saw,
we're there.
but I
like
think
that's a huge leap for a
but
guy.
hold on. I will say they didn't think Shea might, like, you know, people put him in these generational talks, but I think even if you look at Shea when he was with the Clippers in the playoffs, I think a lot of people saw something, and then like a GM like Sam Presti, a GM as savvy as Sam Presti, I'm sure he looked at Shea and was like, bro, his body not even filled out yet. Shea was still flimsy when he was with the Clippers,
Yes, he was.
but he was still hard to deal with. And he was getting whatever he want. Doc was, I would say Doc was holding him back more than anything with the Clippers.
I don't think Doc wanted to get rid of him, to be honest with you, Jordan. And you were there.
No,
Your man was on the crew.
Doc did.
I don't think
Doc
he wanted to come off of
Doc
him.
would barely play him sometimes, which I thought was kind of crazy. But when, like I said, when Chris Paul left and Shea continued to grow, that was a clear sign. Like, nah, this dude got something. Like it was a clear sign that they got something. And I quite frankly thought that, I mean, they probably thought that Josh Giddey was going to work with them. I think sometimes in basketball, you'll see a player take a leap alongside of you when they got expectations for both of y'all. And I think sometimes when you see somebody take that leap, it can be intimidating. And you could not realize the moment in your game that you need to go to, like to complement Shea. And I think, like I said, sometimes in basketball, you need a year to regroup about what you're doing in the game.
And I think that's where Josh Giddey was. To your point, I think that's where Josh Giddey was when SGA took that leap. I think Josh Giddey wasn't there yet, and like, oh shit, like this dude has gotten super nice. I ain't there yet, and it kind of, I do think that it kind of not threw a monkey wrench in it, but it definitely stunted how good he could be. So when he now gets to Chicago, now I could show that I am really that good. I just wasn't prepared for that.
That's what I think. That's what I think it was with Josh Giddey. And it's basketball. Chill, you know that. You played before. Basketball is funny sometimes, man. Like they always say, basketball can let you down sometimes. It can, but you gotta have a year to regroup and just get your shit together. Like, and some shit just, you know how it is. One summer can change your life in basketball. One summer.
Definitely.
I can get with that. I could definitely get with that.
Speaking of one summer and 1 year changing somebody's life in basketball, the next person we're going to talk about is Jaylen Johnson. He's currently number 2. And for Jaylen Johnson, it was really the summer from 2023 going into the 24 season. Jaylen Johnson was 21. He only averaged 5.6 points, only played 15 minutes. And, you know, he was very highly touted coming out of Duke. He was even more highly touted coming out of high school, and it took him a couple years. In that third year, he took a leap, averaged 16 points. Last year, he averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. This year, he's taking his game even further. He's an all-star now. He averages 22 points, almost 23, so 22.7, 7.9 assists, 10.6 rebounds. Let's talk about Jaylen Johnson's improvement. Obviously, from what he was doing and what he showcased, that got Trae Young up out of Atlanta. And they moved on with him as the face of their franchise.
Now, what I don't want to do, Ron, is I don't want to slight him in terms of his improvement because he did improve. But did we not see this coming? Because like to Mars's point, Mars always points out when a guy gets better, it's almost coming out of nowhere. And what I mean when I say nowhere is this is unexpected. Well, I mean, Jaylen Johnson was almost a 20-10 guy last year. So is it ridiculous to think, to your point, is it ridiculous to think that I can go from 19-10 to 24-11 the next year? I mean, I don't think that that's ridiculous to think that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that Atlanta decided that Trae Young wasn't it anymore, and they were going to move on from him and start moving forward with Jaylen Johnson. But when I think about guys improving, I think about guys, when you see what they've done the year before, and then the next year, it's a completely different trajectory. I think that's a bigger sign of an improvement. I felt like we were up here having talks about Jaylen Johnson making the All-Star team last year had he not gotten hurt. That was going on. We were having legit conversations about him doing that. Now this year, I don't think it's surprising that he made the All-Star team.
Not at all.
I think he's a typical MIP candidate, I think. And I think he probably would have won it. Who won it last year?
I want to say Maxey. No, was it Maxey or Maxey won it the year before?
Dyson
I think Tyrese Maxey did win.
Dyson Daniels.
Yeah,
Dyson Daniels.
Oh,
Maxey
yeah,
won it
'cause
the
they
year
was on the
before.
same
Yeah.
It was
team.
Dyson Daniels.
Yeah,
That's correct.
I think last year he probably would have had a really strong case to win it, but then he got hurt, so obviously he wasn't eligible.
Yeah.
I don't think he's improved as much from last year to this year as he did the year before to last year.
I agree.
But I do think he's got better. I also think that I think it was Penn who made the point earlier, like the role thing. Like Atlanta run their offense through him now. Like that's a tough burden to carry, and he's held his own with that burden. So I think that's a sign of growth where when a team's able to go from you playing off of someone else to now we're running our offense through you, and you're able to accept that responsibility and still play well within it. I think that shows his improvement. So I think he's a typical MIP candidate, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won it because he's that good.
The league does like to use this award to announce future stars. I found that, like, Brandon Ingram won it, Pascal Siakam won it. Like, they do like to do that. So could like that just be the best case possible for Jaylen Johnson? That it's like an announcement as one of the young stars in the NBA coming up.
But it still has to be warranted, though, Penn. Like, okay, sure, we're pushing this guy to the forefront, but we're doing it off the strength of what he's been doing. Like, we ain't just selling you Jaylen Johnson because we want people to know that Jaylen Johnson. No, he actually has been getting busy throughout the course of seasons. Like I said, last year he was almost a 20-10 guy. The year before that, he was getting better. And then now this is where we are with him. So, like, when the league pushes guys to the forefront, they're doing it in anticipation that this guy is going to be at. Wemby is a prime example of that. Like, we keep talking about Wemby being the defensive player of the year. We keep talking about Luka being the league MVP. We're pushing these guys because it's warranted. These guys are legit. Luka's leading the league in scoring. Wemby is, again, the second best. I'm sorry, he's the best rim protector in the game. So we're pushing that forward. So it's not like we're just shoving this guy in your face because we want you to think that he's good when he really isn't. So, I think that the league does a great job at that.
I don't think it has to be so mutually exclusive. Like, I think you could hit two birds with one stone, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm not saying you have to manufacture, a case for this guy to win the award. He's legitimately deserving of the award. Sure. I'm just saying, if it comes down to a 50-50 split, does it make sense if you believe that Jaylen Johnson is next up, if you believe he's going to be a franchise player in Atlanta, to not give him that recognition right now, just from a branding perspective as a league?
I could get with that. I can.
I think Ryan.
I don't know if Jaylen Johnson got that type of shit in his game, to be honest with you. I think he's a good player. I don't know if he got.
Why not?
I don't know if he got next young star like type.
So the league loves the super athletic, high flying wing. Like, people love that. Because we live in a bucket getting era, and not only do we live in a bucket getting era, we live in a highlight era. And Jaylen Johnson, you remember when he punched it over Austin Reeves? Like, he looked like he could be a high jump in the Olympics. That's the kind of athlete that he is, right?
His game is hard to like. His game is kind of hard to like duplicate. Like, he relies so much on athleticism. Like,
isn't that a good thing though? Because that's what we try to push.
No, it is.
It's hard to imagine him scaling up more.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
you think that's it? We ain't getting no more Mars?
I say it's hard to imagine. I think
where else would you get it from him?
Jaylen Johnson, like, a star is like someone who's like good at creating for themselves, and he's just not. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to see. Like, that growth is going to be that's difficult to come by. If he's able to improve at like actually creating for himself, then he's a star for sure. But like, actually going from bad at that to good at that is a big growth that's difficult to come by. Everything else, like the other parts of his game that have improved, like, he's still a good rebounder. I think he's one of the best passing forwards in the league. The athleticism, the transition stuff, all of that stuff is great. But like, his defense got worse this year, and he's not a very good creator. So it's like, it's hard for me to imagine like the ceiling being way higher than it is right now. He's obviously only like 23, so I'm not saying it's over. Like, I'm not doing that. But like, it's hard to imagine that jump, because that's the toughest jump to get. Like, that's what number one options do.
Sure,
it's hard to imagine that jump happening.
and to improve at 23 is like the way he did. I don't know if that's a good thing in basketball. Like, damn, did he peak a
Wow.
little bit too early? Because man, you like to see jumps from guys when they go like you like to see small jumps, like small, and then when they get
We
about
just saw Ant
26.
lead the league in threes, and he was 23 when he did that. 23
Yeah,
years
but
old.
like he Ant jump and Jaylen Johnson jump is two different things. You saw
Wow.
Jaylen Johnson average what 5 points a game? Didn't Ron just say like 5 points a game? To
Yeah,
damn
Jaylen
near
Well, he
double
went from
double
like he
now?
went from like
21.
5 to like 15 to like
Right.
20 or something like that.
Yeah, so I'm saying like those jumps are like crazy because it's no way, like Mars said, it's hard to imagine him being a 30-point scorer. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for him to just keep going up. So I don't know. Like him getting that jump that early is like, when will he peak out? Like, is he peaking out right now? For you to peak out at 23 is kind of scary a little bit. I think so.
Yo,
But
I want to ask you guys though, because we just talked about Denny. We're talking about Jaylen. They're both obviously in this MIP race. They both took jumps from what they were last year into the All-Star tier. Who do you guys think would be better over the next 3 to 5 years out of these two?
And Denny's what, 26?
27.
No, he's 25.
They're the same
Denny's
draft
25.
class, right? Yeah, they're the
Yeah,
same draft class, right? Yeah.
Denny's 25. Jaylen Johnson's 23.
Oh, Jaylen Johnson was the next year draft.
25.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
turned
Denny
25.
came from what was it, Tel Aviv? That's his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Israel.
Maccabi.
Mhm.
I'm going with Denny. I'm going with Denny, bro.
Yeah, I think Denny's better now, and I probably expect Denny to be better going forward. Assuming like his back injury isn't serious, because back injuries can ruin careers. So assuming the back injury isn't
He does
serious,
have that
yeah,
back injury. Fuck. Yeah, he does.
I'd probably take Denny, but if the back injury is serious, then maybe I'll go with Jaylen Johnson. But I'll go with Denny right now.
I'm going to go with Denny, Ron, off the strength that guys whose game is predicated on flight and athleticism, when that flight and athleticism wanes, they tend to go the other way and they don't have a backup plan. That's not Denny's game. Denny's game isn't predicated on that. Denny's game is a lot of in between, solid ball handling, getting to the rim, being one of the better floor generals, one of the better distributors. So with that being said, that stuff, ages well over time, as opposed to a guy who runs fast and jumps high. If he doesn't have a contingency when that stuff goes away, I think that, we see a lot less of him. So I'm going to go with Denny.
Jaylen Johnson's a better passer than Denny, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, in my opinion, yes. But I think Denny's just better with the ball in his hands, so he's able to access more passes. But Jaylen, just pure passing, yeah, I think Jaylen's floor vision and actual passing is better than Denny's. He's just not as good of a driver. So Denny's able to get into the paint more consistently, collapse the defense, find kickouts. But he also makes his fair share of bad decisions. I think Jaylen Johnson's actually a pretty good decision maker. I just don't think he's that good with the ball in his hands. So it's weird. I want to see Jaylen Johnson more in an off-ball role than he is right now.
Well, that's interesting.
That's where he'll thrive.
That's interesting you mentioned that, Miles, because what that sounds to me like the guy who only shoots open jump shots, like Luke Kennard, like Luke Kennard, like the guy who, I'm a damn good jump shooter. I just only shoot when I'm open. So I think that Jaylen Johnson is a damn good passer, but he can't really get downhill, so we can't really maximize his ability.
Yeah, I don't think he can maximize his passing ability. But I still think even with the limitations he has, I still think he makes a lot of good reads. Especially for his size. So yeah,
you don't just average 8 assists, then just you just whatever.
Yeah, he averages more assists than Denny too, so I could just go that route and be like, look, averages more assists. So yeah, but I think they're both good passes. I just think Jaylen Johnson's probably better.
The last player, the dude who has basically jumped everybody in this most improved player race. He is the favorite to win right now. Jaylen Durant has taken his game to the next level. And as if that wasn't enough, we're going to start with acknowledging who the players of the week were, which you guessed it. Jaylen Durant is the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He averaged 25 points, almost 26, 25.8, 13.8 rebounds on 63% from the field. And during this time, his team went 3-1. Shout out to the Pistons. We know that they've been balling this year. And then Western Conference, you got Anthony Edwards. His team went 3-0. He averaged 28.7 points, 3.3 rebounds, 5 assists. shout out to these two guys. But we're specifically talking about Jaylen Durant and what he has done this season. Jaylen Durant has kind of flew under the radar for the first half of the season. Got his all-star bid individually, individually. Flew under the radar just a little bit. But I think we all know just how good Jaylen Durant is at this point. On the season, well, last year, Jaylen Durant averaged
12, Ron. 12 and 7. 12 and 10. 11, he was a double-double guy. He was a double-double guy.
So 11.8 to be exact, 10.3 rebounds, 2.7 assists. He was 69% from the field in only 26 minutes, though. This year, and I don't know why he doesn't play more than 28 minutes, but plays 28 minutes. His shot output has went from seven attempts last year up to 11 attempts this year. He's averaging 18.5 points, 10.7 rebounds, and he has just been hooping.
Ox, I'm going to be honest with you right here on international YouTube. When you first brought up that Jaylen Durant, Evan Mobley conversation, I wanted to fight you. I was like, man, you better get the fuck out of here with this. Like, I really wanted to fight you because I'm like, why are we even talking about this? Him and Evan Mobley are not a conversation. Yeah, they are now. We actually are having a Jaylen Durant, Evan Mobley conversation, and it's legit. However, Ron, I don't think in terms of most improved that he's improved the most this season. I mean, I think that brand of basketball in Detroit, I think that it enhances his game and it makes him a lot better. I think he has improved as a defender because I was trying to hype him up as a defender a couple years ago, and Marsball jumped through the screen on me like, chill, what the hell are you looking at? And then I started watching more of him, and I saw how bad he was as a defender in terms of drop and in terms of being able to close out and not foul. He's gotten much better as a defender. His ball handling, especially in transition, really helps this Detroit team. But when you're talking about production and you're talking about a guy, because again, this doesn't have anything to do with winning, Ron. We're discussing solely like your improvement. And I don't know if I can honestly say that he's improved more than Keonte or Ryan Rollins. I don't think that he has.
Does winning matter at all in this award?
Not in this award. It doesn't.
Yes,
no.
It does, Chill.
No, it does not.
Should it?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But should it? Should it matter?
How you impact your team's success should matter, but that should matter in probably every award.
Okay, but like he is a part of the team. He's a huge part of the team. He's the second All-Star on the team. Some would argue he's the second best player on the team, depending on how you feel about Asar and Isaiah Stewart.
He's the second best player.
Yeah. Okay, good. I agree. So why, if you actually consider what this guy's doing on a per minute basis, like just consider the role, limitation of him playing 28 minutes because their coaching staff doesn't want to overextend their starters and because they have such a deep bench, just consider what he's doing per minute. Like, he is insanely productive. Like, if you map this out against almost any center in the league not named Jokic, it's comparable. So
I think he's a top 5 center in the league.
Right. And so when you say...
Is he better than Bam?
Yes.
Today, he's better than Bam.
Is he?
Yes. So I've already hashed out my 5. Jokic, Embiid, Chet, Jaylen Durant. They're my top 5. You're a top 5 center in the league to me.
Better than Bam.
So... like when you say that him and Evan Mobley is a conversation, Mars, is it a conversation?
Yeah, I'd listen to Evan Mobley. It would have to be based on the fact that you don't think this year is indicative of him as an offensive player and that he's probably closer to last year. That would probably be most of the argument, I think. Based on this year, I don't know how you argue Evan Mobley's been better.
He hasn't been. And how I am.
But I also think,
he hasn't been.
Yeah, but last year, I think Evan Mobley last year, I'll have that conversation because I still think Jaylen Durant's the better offensive player. But like obviously defensively, Evan Mobley being one of the best defenders in the league, I still think he is that, by the way. I actually think his defense has been kind of underrated this year. But offensively, just the utility Jaylen Durant provides alongside being a good defender now. I don't know. I just think he's extremely impactful and extremely valuable. So I would have Evan Mobley probably 6, probably.
To answer your question, Penn, and when I'm looking at it, each of these guys, Dyson Daniel, he's on that Atlanta team. They made the playoffs last year. Philly, Tyrese Maxey in 24, they made the playoffs. Lauri Markkanen in Utah, they did not make the playoffs in 23. Ja in 22, they were the second seed. Julius Randle with that Knicks team. They made the playoffs for the first time in like 10 years, something like that. Brandon Ingram in New Orleans, they did not make the playoffs in 20. The Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship in 19. I had never Victor Oladipo in 18. I remember watching that series when they played against Cleveland, and Cleveland beat them in Game 7. And James hugged Victor Oladipo, and he had that face like, man, I'm glad we ain't got to see these dudes again. I am so happy that we don't have to play these guys again. So to your point, in some instances, winning does matter. Giannis in 17 with Milwaukee, McCollum in Portland, buckets in Chicago, the Dragon in Phoenix, Paul George in Indiana, Ryan Anderson with Orlando. Did Orlando make the playoffs that year? I don't think they made the playoffs.
See, that's real MIP winners, Ryan.
Yeah,
Anderson.
like Ryan.
That's
Anderson.
what the award should be. Man.
You know, Ryan Anderson, Kevin Love, Minnesota did not make the playoffs. Aaron Brooks in Houston in 2010, like stuff like that.
But I mean, let's not act like the trajectory that Detroit was on 3 years ago. Nobody.
Two, not three.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Nobody projected they were going to be this good. And chill. That's why I'm giving Jaylen Durant love for this award. That's why he is the favorite, and that's why he's my favorite. Because I don't think the stats are indicative of what he does on the floor and the impact that he has. Like, it's a reason why this team is good. And he's a large reason based on him just playing like an actual big man. He's not running around chucking up a bunch of threes. He's not stat padding. He's not doing none of that. He's playing real basketball. And like, shout out to Jaylen Johnson. You guys are higher on him just filling up the stats and, you know, out there being a PRA merchant than I am. Denny Abdia, same thing as well. He spams a lot of pick and rolls. These guys do things to get stats throughout the game. They have the ball in their hands a lot. Jaylen Durant is just doing big man dirty work. Yeah. I'm protecting the paint. I'm setting hard screens. I'm running the floor, catching alley-oops, grabbing every rebound I can get. And like, that has clearly translated to the Pistons being the best team in the East. That's why I'm like, when I'm looking at his production and the impact it's having on them winning, that's like, I can't overlook that. Like, Denny's stat line looks amazing. Jaylen Johnson almost averaging a triple-double is mind-blowing. Jaylen Durant is on the best team in the East, and he is a large reason because of that.
I could get with that, but I'm just a little aggravated.
He's actually improved defensively. That's like like Jaylen Johnson got worse on defense, and he's an MIP candidate. Denny got worse on defense. He's an MIP candidate. Ryan Rollins stayed around the same. I'll give him, he stayed around the same. And then Keonte just sucked the whole time. Like, the Jaylen Durant, like, that's what I like about him. It's like he got better on offense and defense. Like, he got better at everything. Like, his whole game got better. It wasn't like, oh, he just got more offensive opportunities, so the defense scaled back, give him the MIP. It was, no, this guy got better on offense and got better on defense. And that's a big reason why the Pistons are as good as they are, because they're like the second best.
Where did he get better on offense, Mars? When you look at his game, where did he get better offensively? Because I do see the ball handling. Like, that's I think that's huge for Detroit's offense. Like, him being able to grab the ball off the glass and go with it. I think being that secondary ball handler in transition is definitely a big deal for him. But where did you see him getting better as an offensive player?
I think the biggest growth, I think his hands are a lot better. His footwork is a lot better. Just staying balanced and being able to catch some wide array of passes under the rim from Cade, Tobias Harris, whoever it may be, catching traffic, keep the ball secure. I don't know what his turnover numbers actually are, but with his usage, I don't feel like he's gone crazy. Definitely think he's more secure with the ball. He's got like some semblance of like a mid-range jump shot that he has that is viable, but he doesn't shoot a whole lot, which I don't have a problem with. But I think that's an extra weapon. Well,
he averages about two. He averages almost two turnovers a game. I mean, that's not killing us.
What did he average last year?
Around the same. He's about.
So his turnovers haven't really changed, but his offensive usage has, which is like, I think that's a sign that like his hands and his security is a lot better. His free throw shooting, I would argue, is better, especially based on the volume. Once again, don't know the numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's a better free throw shooter now.
Field goal percentage.
The offensive I think the field goal percentage has gone down because he's getting less of just the easy just lobs and dunks, and it's more so some drives and stuff that he's doing now where he's having to create for himself in the short row and in the pocket and stuff. Like that was stuff he couldn't do before, and now he can do it. So
he's less of a play
percentage is going down.
finisher. He's less.
He's
of a play
diverse.
finisher.
He's diversified some of his shot profile while still being elite at the
I could get with that.
easy things.
Yeah,
And then he's
get with
not
that.
like turning the ball over, and then the offensive rebounding stuff is still great.
Mhm.
And then everything else he already did at a high level. But the biggest growth for me is the defense. Like he was a bad defender, and now he's a legitimately good one. That's the biggest growth,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Which I think he's a valid winner. I would still probably favor like a Ryan Rollins or a Keonte maybe, but I think Jaylen Durant's a valid winner.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. Yeah, this that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.